good evening, and welcome to Tea Time.
Welcome to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. It is a Monday, June 23rd, and it finally feels like summer. I'm going to talk about my weekend real quick and get to my in-studio guest. Friday, we're going to put up Pick A, please. Friday, we said our final farewell to my beautiful great aunt, Angie Albano, upstate Hudson, New York. And it was sad, but it was also a wonderful celebration of her life. So it was beautiful at the same time. And then Saturday, Pick B, please. There, Omar Moore and I. And we filmed in Staten Island. The movie's called Uninvited Guests. It's a suspense thriller. And we rapped. Hallelujah. And shout out to Denise. I think you know her. For lending her house to us, which was great. And then Sunday is laundry day because we all need clean underwear. And I was basically also prepping for my show and then looking into what I have to study for my next thing that I have going on. So I want to get to my in-studio guest. He's actually a New York City award-winning top chef. He's also an instructor and an entrepreneur because he does a lot of different things. So Michael DeGeorgio is here.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm great now.
I'm good. I know. You have all settled, just settled.
Going, yeah.
Everything's good. It's just two people having a conversation.
Yeah, I don't know what happened over the weekend, but I met this woman and...
I know, it was crazy because, things happen in funny ways. And sometimes I have cancellations on my show. And I was just talking to Denise and Kathy. Denise and Kathy are his sisters. Actually, let's put up a pic because we're talking about them. It's Pick M. Yes, we're putting up a picture of you with your sisters because Kathy sent me one. There they are.
Oh, yeah.
Denise and Kathy.
That's
Thank
in North
you.
Carolina.
Hey, yeah.
Yep.
And so I love your sisters. I love them. They're both beautiful people.
They are.
Thank you, Carmine. And loved hanging out with them on Saturday. And, I was talking to them about how my show, and then they're like, our brother is an extremely talented chef and has rubbed elbows with many people over the years. And I was like, am I going to talk to him 55 minutes about food? And they're like, no, there's so much more. And there is. I was like, a plethora of information on you. So I'm so excited to have everyone get to know you and your amazing career. So you're originally from Brooklyn.
Yep, I'm born in Brooklyn.
What part of Brooklyn?
And it was really Borough Park.
Borough Park.
Borough Park, and then we moved over to Bensonhurst.
Yeah, and you were adorable. Let's put up pic C, please, because
Oh, no.
I got some baby pics. When
Oh,
C,
no.
we'll put up C. Look how adorable.
Yeah, I was
Oh
a
my
devil.
God, I'm digging that bow tie. Let me tell you, I love it. And then the next pic is you with another tie on. Love it, I love it, love it, love it. But you were adorable as a kid, and you thank you, Carmine, and you actually come from a family where dad is Italian and mom was Greek.
Was Greek,
So
yep.
you have like the best of both worlds as far as European
was.
cuisine.
It was.
So who was the cook in the family, your mom or your dad?
So really, my dad was an amazing cook.
Yeah.
My uncle, who was my mom's brother, another guy who was in the diner business and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like at a different level.
Right.
But my family of my fathers come from butchers.
Oh,
So
yes.
I had so much
Yes.
available to me.
Yeah, and actually you started as an apprentice for your Uncle Gino, right? As a student butcher.
No.
Right?
Gino, believe it. You said Gino?
Yeah, it was Gino. That's what I what I
No,
read.
believe it or not.
No.
Gino was a butcher.
Right.
But when I worked for him,
Yeah.
it was in the fashion business.
Okay.
Okay, and I worked on 7th Avenue running around with skirts and stuff to get them sloped and buttons and this and that. And I thought I really loved that business.
Right.
So, you know, I got so much
Yeah.
culture from it.
But as a kid, you always loved to cook.
Yeah,
As a
cooking.
matter of fact, there's a picture. If we could go to pick G, because I think G, you're in the kitchen with Mom. Yeah.
Yeah, this picture blew me away. Like,
I love it. That's priceless.
That's in Borough Park.
Yeah.
Where the house where we were born. You know.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that picture came up.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So
the butchers.
Yeah.
My Uncle Frank,
Okay.
my dad.
Okay.
They were master butchers.
Wow.
When they worked, they had the tie on.
Yeah.
And people would go into Gristedes for all high-end stuff. You know, like.
But back in the day, when there were no supermarkets, thank you, Carmine. Back in the day, when there were no supermarkets, you had to go on a daily basis most of the time for your essentials, including your meats.
On a daily basis, because the berets, part of my family's berets, and they used to deliver ice and coal.
The Icemen.
And
yes.
My poor father would work on the truck with his godfather. Lug a big ice cube up, throw it in the box.
In the ice box.
Yeah, and that's what you had.
Yeah.
So, but everything that I was born into just was the perfect combination that I just loved. If my father left me home from work and I'd be 5 years old, I would terrorize my mother the whole day, crying, screaming. Like she used to say, Jimmy, Vincent, Jimmy.
Right.
You got to take him.
Right.
You just get him out of here.
Yeah. But you were very young seeing all these men in these major positions in their own type of business.
Yes, I'm the one in the family that took it a
to
step
the next
further.
level.
Why? Because they booted me out of Pace University less than a year.
Wow, really?
And thank God my father saw the Culinary Institute
Yes.
on TV.
You attended and graduated from the Culinary Institute of America, valedictorian, top of your class.
From getting booted out of Pace, I was #1 in my class.
Right.
They gave me a week stay at the Waldorf Astoria.
Wow.
They gave me beautiful silver chalices signed and stuff. But guess what? Like anybody that graduates #1 in anything, you're really not nobody.
Right.
You're not master chef of the world.
No. But you knew that's what you wanted to do. That's where your passion.
I knew when I walked in the front door.
Right.
Because I was devastated there. I got thrown out of school.
Right.
So me, my mom, and my dad, we took a ride up to CIA. And as soon as I walked into the front doors, I knew.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That was it. It was like the white light came down and you heard the cherubs sing. And
it was it's a Jesuit monastery.
Yeah.
And it was just so real for me.
So tell me, because people might not know this, your first love is music. And how do you correlate the music with recipes in your mind?
Not everyone knows that my real first true love is music.
Yeah.
And it comes from the Greek side of my family.
Right.
And my most amazing cousins who lived right next door to us in Borough Park.
Right.
And my Uncle Tommy, he was a drummer. And my cousin Linda, she sang and played different instruments. But my cousin Nico, he's the one who played guitar, bouzoukia, oud. And in the basement, he would save up his money and he would order Marshall amplifiers that would blow the house. But I was with Nico constantly.
Yeah.
And I was like, just unbelievable to pick up the guitar, but I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And now, many years later, because I'm able to find information out, guitarists are so unique. They have different higher IQs, and the way that their brain works together with their hands is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
So people have related that to my hands.
Right.
Because talent comes natural from your soul. It just comes.
Right.
It's either you have it or you don't.
Right. Like a painter. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a God-given talent.
And like Jimi Hendrix, they can't figure out exactly, but he was the best guitarist that ever lived.
Right, right, right.
But no one could play it like him.
Yeah, yeah. Very unique. Everyone's very unique in their own way.
Yeah, so how do I connect it?
Yeah.
So what I do is...
Because I know you told me a little bit, but I want you to explain it.
So here's what I do. Now, so many years later, back then you couldn't find out a song. If you wanted to find out the words, you had to buy a cassette, go back and forth, write it. Now I'm able to Google and I study the lyrics.
Right.
And you study the genius behind the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then you know that some of them only know how to write music, some of them only know how to write lyrics.
Right.
And then there's the prize package of doing everything.
Both, yeah.
So I take, in my mind, my flavors are my music notes.
Okay.
Because people, they read recipes over and over and over again. They go bananas. But if you just take the simplistic approach
Right.
and realize that those flavors in your mind are playing your song.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And what I've done is, in this, whatever you want to call this, that's coming up, my life on the line,
Yeah.
I plugged in songs into each part of my life that means something.
Right, right.
That's how I
like it
plug
describes your journey.
What?
Like it describes your journey.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And now I'm able to understand the song and what it is,
right.
you know.
So tell me, what is your favorite dish to make?
Seafood. So seafood is the most challenging.
Is it?
Yes, because if you...
It's got to be fresh.
Well, yeah, first of all, it's the purchasing part. But you have to be so on point with seafood that's why most people complain that they messed it up or this or that, right?
Yeah.
But I love everything about food. I still to this day sleep with a notebook next to me if I wake up and I'm thinking, and I jot down things, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I back then we had nothing.
Yeah.
If you followed a chef, you'd go and try to buy his book that he wrote, like Andre Saltner. We came up in the French cuisine. The French is the master of the cuisine.
Right.
It's a brigade system from Escoffier. They were smart enough to put everything into order.
Okay.
So Andre Saltner was one of them. Lydia from Lydia. She was a unique Italian, you know. Charlie Palmer. His father fell in love with me at the CIA. And he wanted me to work for him at Oriole.
Oh, wow.
But my heart was in Italian cuisine.
Yeah.
So you would have to get the knowledge through saving up your money, going out to eat at a restaurant, and see what's going on.
Right.
Why is a scallop or a scallop?
Right.
Or how is something done even higher than the CIA, what I learned.
Yeah.
And then people don't realize you have to give your life to this career. And my generation of chefs, they're almost kind of like really coming to an end.
Yeah.
Because I give respect to the Europeans. They were even a higher level than me.
Right.
You know, they wouldn't stop. And then they made so much money in New York when New York was New York.
Yeah. Back in the day.
They made so much money, they would close for a month and a half, go to their country. God bless them. Come back. And reopen.
Right.
And, you know, when I say when New York was New York, I could never forget it, how you would walk into a restaurant. If you didn't have a jacket, they would put one on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you smelled fresh flowers. And you smelled the most beautiful perfumes from women. And you had a snooty greeter that would
Hostess,
make
yeah.
believe
The
you were
host,
praying
yeah,
that he
yeah.
had your name in the
Right,
book.
right. Yeah,
There was no
yeah.
open table.
Yeah, no,
you know.
you needed reservations.
And then the whole process began.
Yeah.
You follow him and you go.
Yeah.
And it was magnificent.
It's nice.
It was-
I remember those days. I remember going into the city and yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah.
They're not,
You know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
thank God for Gino, my uncle who we spoke about, who was into fashion.
Yeah.
He would take my family out to always like the
To
newish
dinner, yeah.
chic, because it was a fortune. And
Yeah.
You know, Gino did well.
That was the other thing, affording it.
And the place that I fell in love with the most
Yeah.
is the one that I became chef at 22 years old.
Wow.
Was Il Cortile on Mulberry Street.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, I was 14 years old when Gino
Amazing.
took me.
Wow,
Took
that's
us there.
wild. How full circle moment that is, right?
Yeah,
That you
it's-
go in there to eat at 14 and then you're
If
working
you
at
have another
22.
like 2 hours, I could tell you the whole story, maybe 3.
Actually, we don't. But you know what? Let me just tell you also, there's so much more to talk about with Michael that we're going to take a really, really quick break. Don't go away because
Right,
there's so
we
much
need a little
more.
water here,
When we
you know?
come back, we'll be back after this.
Well, hi there, Theresa. It's John York from General Hospital. I am just checking in because apparently you have a great talk show called Tea Time on Strong Island TV. I want you to have continued great success and have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, and that's pretty much the key to everything, isn't it? So continued success. I'm proud of you. Have a great day, Theresa. Bye.
Okay.
We're back?
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome back to Tea Time.
Hey, what's up?
I'm with Michael DeGeorgio, and he is an amazing New York City award-winning top chef. He's also an instructor and an entrepreneur because he has his hands on everything. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. Please like the show. Please share it. We're live on YouTube and Facebook, and then the show goes to Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, Apple TV. We're going to be all over the place.
Great.
Everywhere
great.
podcasts can be heard. So Michael's telling me his story. It's an incredible story because you also, you had said that you worked for your uncle in the garment industry, and then you also, in chronological order, you did start at Meat Palace Butcher Shop as a student butcher.
So that was my Uncle Frank's.
Right, and
Yeah.
then from there you went to Peter Stone.
So
Okay, which
well,
is a premise catering.
Yeah, actually, the Yale Club
Yeah.
was my apprenticeship.
Okay.
And from the Yale Club, that's how we got connected to Peter Stone,
Got
who
it.
was out in Long Island and had very expensive jobs
Yeah.
on estates in Westbury and so on.
I think that's Pick H. If you're there, Carmine. I know Carmine might be.
Yeah,
think
so-
Pick H. I think this is the one that you're talking about. Is it Pick H? Is that the one?
Yes.
Yes.
So the
There
Yale
you
Club,
are. Yes.
I'm an apprentice there.
Yes.
7 days a week,
Right.
$108 was the check,
Right.
clean.
Wow.
So you just had to just keep killing yourself. And literally,
Okay.
she talks too much, and I have to have a little sip of water. You know what I'm saying?
Take a little sip. That's fine.
Okay. So what happens is
Thank you, Carmine.
in the beginning, you need a little bit of luck,
Right.
and you need a little bit of very good people in your life
Yes,
that can get you into a
absolutely.
place like the Yale Club
Yeah.
and so on.
Well, after that, you did the Liberty Sandwich Shop. You were a short order cook.
Yes, so that was my
Right?
dad, my uncle, and my
Yes.
dad's place. So,
And then you went to Maxim's. Maxim's?
well,
Am I
it's a
saying
little
that
bit
right?
mixed up there. Here's what happens.
Well, I was trying to get it in the
Don't
right
worry.
order.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. So
And you were an apprentice.
what?
You were an apprentice roundsman.
Roundsman.
What is that? What is that?
That's you do everything that the chefs tell you to do, and you
So
get
it's
no
basically
pay.
you got a hand in everything. You're learning everything basically.
Yeah, but see, Maxime's
Yeah.
was owned by Pierre Cardin.
Pierre Cardin.
And it was
Right.
Fabulous.
Like the place to be.
The Yale Club, so I did some apprenticeship in Maxime.
Right.
Some in Yale Club.
Right.
And Il Cortillo, my baby.
Yeah.
I did the bulk of it.
Right.
At Maxime's, you know what I had to do all day long?
What?
They had something called Pomme Maxime.
Okay.
And they would put it on every table.
Uh-huh.
Complimentary. Meantime,
Right.
you paid through the nose. But
Yeah, yeah.
So we were there slicing potatoes on a mandolin.
Uh-huh.
Fresh.
Right.
You had to peel them first. Fresh cut. Clarified butter.
Yeah.
Just a sprinkle of salt. And you're baking them on sheet pans constantly through the day.
Right,
Because
right.
the chef wanted them perfectly brown,
Right.
hot, and they would go in a basket to the
Right,
table.
right.
But the guy who gets somewhere in this career
Yeah.
is the guy who keeps watching the line.
Okay.
So the line is the guys who got it.
Right.
And some of them could be snarky, some of them, but these are the guys that are just under the chef.
Yeah.
And the line is your bloodline, the chef's bloodline.
Got it.
So in the French cuisine, it's going to be the saucier, it's going to be the entremetier, the poissonnier. It's all brigade.
Wow.
And how it goes is that brigade means it's military.
Right. There's a certain order.
Yes, and if you don't make it in any of those, but we were apprentices, so
Right.
roundsman is basically
Right. You're doing everything, and you also were at the Yale Club too. You did the
yeah,
same
Yale
thing.
Club. We were all apprentices.
Yes. And then, have you ever been to France?
No, but
Italy?
Italy I've been to at least 4 times.
Okay, I'm going for the first time. I'm so excited.
Listen, if they told me I had to stay there,
You would.
but I could still see my family somehow,
Yeah, you would.
I would stay.
Yeah.
But I went to Greece as well.
And I went there last year, and I loved
Yeah,
it.
my island is Kos, and it's magnificent.
Yeah.
But Greece is primitive. It could never be more than what it is because there's more than 1,000 islands.
I know.
They can't get it together.
I know.
They don't have melons because they got to move them on a ferry. And,
I know.
But there's many Italian restaurants there.
Yes.
They have beaches. But
It's amazing. It's amazing. If you get a chance, go to Greece. It's amazing. I love
France, God willing, I would
All
like
right.
to
get
get
there.
to.
Get there one day. You will. All right. So let's talk about who you have worked with, cooked for, because this man. Pay attention, people. It's a laundry list.
Can I just say one thing before?
You can say whatever you want,
that?
Michael.
I don't want to take over the show.
No,
but
go ahead.
just so when we spoke,
Yeah.
I was trying to put together entertainment with food. Like that was my biggest thing. I thought it was, I had to do that.
Yeah.
And so here's another thing. I told you about the music notes.
Yes.
To the flavors.
Yeah.
Okay. But in my heart,
Yeah.
I know that what I do, what my genre did was basically entertainment. Because
Right.
a Broadway show, those people kill themselves 7 nights a week and then a matinee.
Yeah.
The show goes on.
Yes.
If one's down, they put another one in.
Right.
And how we learned from the Europeans is the show must go on.
That's one of your quotes.
Right.
Yes.
And I would, if I tell you, we would work if we were deathly ill.
Yes.
No matter what,
Yeah.
the show must go on.
Yeah.
And it comes from Freddie Mercury. I keep putting, I'll keep mixing music
The
in.
music.
Sorry. No, go
No,
on.
that's
You were
okay.
gonna-
No, the show goes on. But you're all about love, respect for family, tradition, and hard work. Because that's what you were taught, right, as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the laundry list. You ready, people? Pay attention. Okay, so he has cooked for, and I'm going to mention some names and not others, but you've cooked for governors and mayors and congressmen, as well as musicians, actors, and athletes, including Billy Joel, Madonna, Sting, Rob Thomas, Aerosmith, Ringo Starr, Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Sean Penn, Christy Brinkley, Vanna White. The cast members of All My Children and General Hospital, as well as Phil Rizzuto and Derek Jeter, Babe Ruth's family, Rusty Staub, Mariano Rivera, where we're going to put up some pics of Mariano because I have them. Pick O, please. We're going to go to pick O. There you guys are. And we're going to go to P and Q because I have them. And there you are.
Yeah.
And Q,
he's in
the kitchen helping you there.
We're cooking in his kitchen
You're
there.
cooking in the kitchen. Thank you, Carmine. And also Tony Danza and the cast of The Sopranos, which we're going to show a video clip now of Tony Danza with a couple of people.
My buddy
from,
Tony.
From The Sopranos, and you're going to recognize a couple of them. So let's take a look at this clip.
Oh, wait a minute, Little Italy? Yeah. Oh, that's all right. I thought I had to remember the cannolis, you know.
Hey, we got to get something to eat.
All right.
Hey.
New York is the greatest city in the world, but without Little Italy, forget about it. Forget about it.
Welcome back, Tone. Welcome back.
We got a lot of great people living in this neighborhood.
I lived upstairs for 2 years.
Did you
I
hear?
gained 40 pounds. Yeah, I lived upstairs.
Well, because this is Nene's place,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
This is the famous
El Cortillo.
That's the place. All right, so is that where we're going in and eat? Favorite restaurant. Let's go see Mike in the back, the chef. So what are we making today?
Your favorite. Veal masala. Veal chops.
Oh, so you take it off the chop and then pound it out. Oh, yeah.
He loves it. Yeah, he loves it the other night.
Best veal.
Best veal in the city.
Well, the best veal in Little Italy, I'll tell you that.
Do you cook, Tony?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I really do.
Do you cook?
Of course I cook.
Oh, yeah?
But Tony,
All right. All I do.
You don't cook?
All I do is eat. I don't cook.
I gotta eat. I'm sorry, I'm ready. I'm ready. So we're gonna go take our positions.
Now you're talking.
Wow, look at the things. Oh man,
This is beautiful. To you, huh? Your new show?
Yeah.
Welcome back to New York, huh? New York missed you, baby.
coming from you guys, it means a lot. And of course, you know.
How great is that? That's from September 2004 when Tony Danza had his show. How great was that? That was with...
and I was even on his show in the studio.
Yeah, Tony Sirico and Steve Sharippa from The Sopranos. But how much fun is that? And you're pounding those pork chops.
You have no idea. Every time they were going to whack somebody on the show, we knew like a month before.
Really?
Because they would have the going away party for the guy in the restaurant.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
It was hysterical.
Oh my God,
but
that's
the
great.
biggest thing that happened in that type of a setting, you know, with the mafia, whatever, is the EA games. So EA games at the time was huge. You know, they make all these games for the kids that they look live on the TV, right?
Right.
So I get a call, and to make it short, they were doing the Godfather EA games.
Okay.
They came with a huge trailer truck, took all the furniture out of the restaurant, everything, and redid it to look like the game.
Wow.
So you wouldn't even recognize El Cortillo. And then Jimmy Kahn came.
Jimmy Kahn.
What's his name?
Who was
Johnny
that?
Russo. Like whoever was alive at the time. De Niro.
Well, you also were, hung out with Dom DeLuise. But wait, he's got a great story about Dom DeLuise, but we're going to tell that story when we come back after this. Don't go away.
How you doing? It's Sal, the voice of Valentinetti. Why are you watching me? You should be watching Theresa Farrell, Tea Time with Theresa Farrell. And make sure you follow Theresa on Facebook, Tea Time with Theresa Farrell. We'll see you there.
I love the way you say my name. I love it.
Together.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Oh, boy. Let me tell you something. I got pictures of his food, too. So people are going to get hungry, Michael. They're going to get hungry. They are. Because I know when I was researching, you know, because I do a lot of research on my guests, we talked on the phone, and I'm like, Michael, I'm looking at your pictures of all your food. I said, what did I tell you I was making?
You were making an antipasto.
I was making a little antipasto for myself. I had a little salami and provolone and some olives, and I had a little fresh mozz and tomato. I got hungry. We're going to get the audience hungry.
That's my job.
But right now, we're going to talk about Dom DeLuise, because what I also found out was Dom DeLuise was a chef.
Yeah, he was.
So tell everyone your story about Dom DeLuise.
All right, so it's connected to the first time that I ever went on a live show.
Right, and that was with Robin Leach.
It was called the Robin Leach Show.
Yeah.
So they called me because the San Gennaro Festival was coming.
Right.
Would you come on?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know?
Yeah.
So I bring a whole feast of stuff and go to some building, I don't remember where. And I remember thinking about every second. I was like nervous when I set up the beautiful food.
Yeah.
Robin Leach comes out, there's a stage, you know, and we're talking, doing tests.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they go live and I'm like this. I could barely speak.
Oh.
Not that much, but I was like.
You got like tongue-tied.
Talking, but I was like dry. I was like.
You couldn't get anything out.
So about a minute goes by. All of a sudden, Dom DeLuise comes.
Swoops
from
into the
the
rescue.
back screaming, "A festa di tutti festi!" He came up and he's hung because he knew I was in trouble. He's like, this kid is going to collapse.
He saved you.
He was hungry enough. And he broke me right out of it. And we was talking about San Gennaro, the feast, and so on.
Yeah.
It was the first time that I was ever live like that.
On TV, yeah.
Yeah, on TV, yeah.
Yeah, and that it could be very overwhelming.
Yeah,
But he snapped you out of it.
If it was just Robin Leach, I would have collapsed off the stage. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh my God, that's great. Did you cook for Dom? Did you cook for him at all or no?
Yeah. Then, of course.
Yeah.
I was just so good to everybody. I made sure that they came.
They all got fed.
To sit down and enjoy.
Nice.
You know, when you're there working, you know, the food's beautiful. But
you were with Il Hotel for what? 20 something years?
21 years.
21 years.
21 years.
It's a long time.
But thank God
You were the executive chef and general manager.
Yeah, because the family, the kids, they weren't quite involved. And the chef who hired me, he had to leave. And he was from Bari.
Oh.
And he was so talented, but he was crazier than me.
Yeah.
Insane. But
Are you saying you're crazy?
Yeah, I'm quite crazy. But he taught me. He was so good that he was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Where the barets and cuisine from Molise, Campania, that cuisine is very natural, very light, all beautiful flavors.
Yeah.
And what he knew enough to, because he knew I have a massive restaurant here, I have to get ahead of my, you know. So what he did was, in his mind, he made what he thought he was calling them, he would call it dosage. It's that, like, so he would make dosage portions of things so that, like the sauce. Because he didn't want too much sauce on a pasta.
Right.
Today you get a pasta, it's loaded with.
Yeah, it's covered.
He was just an how do you say, integral part of my of my whole life.
Yeah.
And he's quite old now. He's still around, but
oh, God bless.
then from that, people started to find me because I was the first one to turn the menu into English. It was all Italian. You couldn't read it.
Really?
And then I started to roll.
Yeah.
Companies would find me.
Yeah.
Can you consult? Can you do this?
Right.
So I went from Texas to
everywhere. You were all over the place. But after there, you went to Russo's on the Bay.
Yes.
And you were there.
9 years.
You were at Russo's on the Bay, which was also Vetro's.
Well, here's what
at Russo's and Giordano, right? Giordano.
Yeah, so Giardino.
Giardino
was by where you, by Bayside.
I had my 40th birthday there.
You know what? Yeah.
Listen to me. Everyone knows I'm
But it was
old.
next to the golf course, you know.
Yes, no, but I had my 40th birthday there.
Okay, so
And I don't know if you were there. What year?
I don't know. Don't say
I don't know if you were there.
Hey, we're not saying
We'll talk
nothing.
about the year after, but everyone knows I'm old. But the point is that when I read this, I was like, I wonder if that's the same place I had my 40th. And yes, it was. I had my 40th birthday there.
Yeah, so when I left El Cortillo.
And the food was amazing.
We wound up with a stop work order on what we were building, which is called Vetro.
Okay.
Russo's on the Bay.
Yes.
Was there.
Yes.
For many years.
Yes.
So now we're in trouble. So Frank says, me and another guy we were partnered.
Yeah.
He said, to see how you guys work together, you're gonna go to Giardino's.
Yeah.
And you're gonna redo it into a different restaurant.
Yeah.
He put money in, whatever,
right.
New menus.
Right.
And that's what we did.
I was in the private room, that big private back room. That was where I was.
So, you know,
crazy.
then Vetro was a gem.
Yeah.
You know, it was something like $14 million, and it has a wine cellar room. It has the main floor was the a la carte restaurant. Everything from France, from Italy, Murano glass.
Yeah, they
and
went
then
all out.
a wedding room above and a rooftop.
Wow.
2 years in, the storm Sandy destroys us.
Yeah.
And Frank is so resilient, God bless him.
Yeah.
He said, no one's taking us down.
Wow.
He put up the money before the insurance people because he couldn't see it. It was like a knife in us, you know?
Yeah.
But all the consulting and everything that I did, Il Cortile, they would let me go because I would bring back customers.
Right. Well, I want to mention. I got to put on the readers, people. I want to mention some of them. But after you did, you were the executive chef, and like you said, off-premise division. You were with Ace Indigo.
So what happens is
as a corporate consulting chef.
Yeah. So after about 9 years at Vetro, I had some serious health issues.
Yes.
And there's no way that I could have kept going.
Yes.
Because Frank is so tough.
Yes.
And hard to deal with and stuff. So I love him to this. If I called him right now, he'd answer.
Yeah.
But a friend of mine who was working for Cola Vita at the time.
Yes.
I tell him, you know, I'm out. I had to resign.
Right.
The next day, he had me an appointment at Ace Indigo because they wanted me.
Yes.
And I was able to handle that work because I was a corporate chef.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like.
But you were with Carmelina Tomatoes.
So that's part of the consulting.
Yeah, that was you were brand ambassador, recipe production. You did trade shows. Darden Restaurant Group.
Darden was huge.
Chef consultant, recipe production for the USA and Italy.
Yes.
Okay. Then you were with Unilever. And Lipton Foods?
So Unilever.
And Lipton Foods.
Unilever was Unilever Lipton.
Okay, they were together.
In Englewood, New Jersey. Okay. So now they're only Unilever. And they own more brands than, forget food, they own soaps.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Huge.
But when we were doing it, my friend, he's a celebrity chef, David Burke. He loved my cooking. We got buddies. So he put together 5 of us. Because they were working on a top secret project at the time.
Right.
And it was called Carmine 1 and Carmine 2. That was the code name.
That's funny.
We had to sign documents this big to say that we don't have any ownership.
Right.
So they wanted recipes from me, Italian American. David, American.
Right.
Don Pintabona, Sicilian American.
Okay.
Ed Brown, seafood. A friend of mine, Giovanni, who was born in Parma.
Okay.
So they wanted a variety of what was in our brain.
Yeah.
Make it short. Oh, we can make it longer. No, we'll make it short. It was prototypes for today. If you see in the freezer, it's called Bertolli Frozen Classic Dinner.
Oh, Maron.
And the ice cubes of the sauce, if you ever bought one to this, they're delicious.
Oh, my God.
They're perfectly. So in Italy, they had the machines. So our sauces, they would put them through the machine and they would freeze it in perfect ice cubes.
Wow.
So if it was a spaghetti, whatever, they had machines that cooked the pasta, twirled it perfectly al dente.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to have only half the bag, you take, say, 4 cubes, 4 nests, put it in a pan, low fire, and it was.
Wow.
And they're still there today.
That's so cool. That is so cool.
Now they're gonna come and arrest me.
No. And then after that, you mentioned Calavita USA, again, product consultant. You did trade shows, brand ambassador. You know, we have some pics, so let's put up some pics, shall we? Let's go to, I don't know where I left off, but let's go to K. Let's go to K, because that's you holding a pizza with somebody. Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah, that's a trade show.
That's a trade show.
Yeah.
There we go. And let's go to L, the next one.
Yep, it's in Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
Yeah, it's called the Pizza Expo. It's huge.
Huge.
In the Las Vegas Convention Center.
And let's put up N because it's you and
you see that's Carmelina.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's
There,
the
Daniel.
house you were in yesterday, or I mean Saturday.
Yes, that's your sister's house. I knew it looked familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bait and switch.
And how about R? Can we put up R? Tell me about this one. That's also a trade show?
Yeah, that's
They're
all
all
from
trade shows.
Vegas, and I'll tell you a quick
All from
story.
Vegas. Thank you. And let's put up S2. S, because this is you cooking.
That's where you were Saturday.
We got you cooking. We got you cooking. And T, because we're there. Everything looks so good. Really good. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, my God. So let me ask you a question.
Huh?
What do you like to eat?
What do I like to eat? Well, when I was in the industry,
Yeah.
I never really ate my own cooking.
Do you have a but you got to taste it to know it's good to serve, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
But it would be 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning,
I know,
and
you
a
don't
bunch of
wanna
us
tell me.
would go to eat because the times when I tried to eat in the restaurant,
Right.
there was always a fiasco, an aggravation. Something happens,
Really?
and you couldn't enjoy it.
Okay.
So we went to Sergeant's Deli, Chinese food, here, there, you know. But I love Asian foods.
Okay.
In Italian food, like
Yeah.
now that I'm kind of like retired or whatever, I really cook a lot of my own dishes for myself and my
Right.
beagle.
Yes, his
So I
dog.
eat things that I used to make
Yeah.
that I never had a chance to like eat the whole
Now
thing.
you do.
But the thing is, what we were talking about in the beginning about what does talent mean? It comes, not everyone's talented, but some people are very smart. But talent is from the soul, and it goes into the hands. And it's like people can try to duplicate my recipes work.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
Right.
Mariano Rivera,
Yeah.
he was actually suffering in the beginning.
Yeah.
He couldn't get, and then a day he woke up, he threw a pitch, and it became the most famous pitch in baseball called the cutter. And he says that God just gave it to him, and it has to be because it didn't exist.
Yeah.
So they did. He has a church, you know, like a school and church and everything.
Yeah.
and
He has a foundation. He has a foundation.
very big,
Yeah.
Mariano Foundation.
Yeah.
And,
His foundation.
so the ministers, I cooked for them a big special thing because I had serious issues.
Yeah.
Right, my sister Denise was there.
Yeah.
And we were around this huge kitchen of his.
Yeah.
And they were going to do a prayer service over me.
Okay.
So at first, this one minister started talking only him, and he said, "We have witnessed over and over again since Chef Michael has been here that his hands cannot be duplicated the way that Mariano, his hands cannot be duplicated to throw the pitch."
Right.
I said, "Yeah, but we're about 300 million shy." You know, but I was, my heart was like,
Yeah.
for them to compare me to this man standing next to me.
Yeah.
I was, and then another very famous guy said he compared me to Paul McCartney.
Right.
And he didn't know that I loved music.
Right.
To
Right.
Paul
right.
McCartney playing the guitar.
Sure.
So when they're doing this prayer, Denise was there, and
Yeah.
all the ministers everyone's speaking, about 8 of them,
Right.
and and they're talking in tongue. It's something that's.
Oh yeah. I've heard it.
I
Yeah.
can't tell you.
With my grandmother.
I'm there and I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I could hear everyone individually.
Right. Yeah.
But if you listen, it sounded like a mishmash of people.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
So we need about another 6 hours, and we could get through my life.
Well, you know what? We're going to take my last break, and when we come back, I'm going to tell you how you can follow Michael, how you can find Michael, and how Michael can cook for you. So don't go away. We'll be back after this.
Doc, who's the best comedian you know?
Theresa
Theresa Farrell.
And who's the best actress you know?
Theresa Farrell.
And who's the best cast member in Bad Boys?
Teresa Farrell.
Who's got the best radio?
Teresa Farrell.
Stop. Who's your favorite Jimmy?
Teresa Farrell.
Who are you loving right now?
Teresa Farrell.
All right, Chuck. I love you too, baby.
Love you as always.
Thank you.
She talks too loud. You know?
Hey, welcome back to Tea Time, people. I'm here every Monday at 8 o'clock. I'm so glad you're joining me because you know what? God puts people in your life for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And I am so blessed to know you sisters. Seriously, you know, I worked. Denise, I love you, Denise, and Kathy. We used a house last year for uninvited guests, and it was a year since we last filmed there, and we finished the film on Saturday. And I was just saying how, you know, sometimes, like I said, my guests cancel on me, and Kathy's like, my brother has a great, interesting story, and things happen for a reason. So
Yes.
you're supposed to be here tonight and tell your story. This is how I feel, and I'm glad it worked out, and I know your sisters are so excited for you that it's happening. You've had, yes, you mentioned challenges along the way, but I want people to know that you can find Michael. Okay, so on Instagram, it's Signature, and it's SIGNITUR_NYC. Okay, on Instagram. And also, if people want to email you, can they email you directly?
Yeah, they can come to my house.
Email him directly at chef1028, which is his birthday,
Yeah, that's my birthday.
at AOL.com. See, I know everything.
AOL is the dinosaur.com.
I know. Does it still work?
Yeah, it works.
Okay. Because I'm a Yahoo girl. But then you have Gmail. I mean, there's still stuff out there that works. Because I was like, is he on Facebook? And they're like, no, he's on Instagram. I'm like, okay, because I want to, I want to do research on you. So you're in this another phase of your life right now. You mentioned before health issues. Can we talk about that a little
Absolutely.
bit? Okay, because I know people who suffer with the same disease. You have Crohn's and colitis.
No,
or just the Crohn's?
Now I had Crohn's now,
Yes.
but I've been through huge challenges with
Yes,
surgery, and if it
surgeries.
wasn't for my dearest surgeon,
Yeah.
Feza Remzi,
Yes.
I would not be talking to you right now.
Right.
I can't even begin to tell you that he's one of 3 in the world that were able to do. He said, Michael, you're inoperable.
Yeah.
He said, but you better do this surgery now.
Yeah.
I said, what do you mean? I got to open a restaurant on the West River. He said,
this is how life happens, and we hit road bumps along the way. And you know what it is that I want to talk about Crohn's and colitis only because I know a lot of people with Crohn's and colitis. Crohn's and colitis affects, I think, 1 in 5 or 1 in 6 people, including IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And a lot of people don't talk about it because it's a bathroom issue. And who wants to talk about bathroom issues? But it's important to listen to your body, right? And if you're having a problem with your body or issues,
it's autoimmune.
Yes, and you go to your doctor and you find out what's going on. My daughter's mother-in-law has Crohn's. She's had most of her intestines removed. These are people that suffer that sometimes cannot leave their house and have to be near a bathroom. So, when you told me about this, and I told you about my brain thing 10 years ago, I actually was part of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Yeah. And they have something called Team Challenge. And Team Challenge, we do, I don't do full marathons. We do half marathons, and we raise money for Crohn's and colitis. So I did 3 half marathons for Crohn's and colitis and raised $15,000. So shout out to Crohn's and colitis.
Well, tonight we want 10,000 people that are watching us.
Yeah, shout out to Crohn's and Colitis Foundation and Team Challenge and everyone involved in my Team Challenge family.
Right.
I think you're very brave to mention it because a lot of people don't want to talk about it, Michael.
They don't want to talk about it, and also, you know what? If we can help one person out there,
absolutely.
Look, I'm tough, but I'm thick-headed, and
so it kind of derailed him a little bit. hitting potholes along the way. But now you're back and you want to get back into what your love of cooking.
Right.
And so what I want to tell people right now is that if you need catering for occasions,
Yes.
or a
Private home
or
chefs.
personal chef, or meal prepping,
Yes.
this is what Michael does, and he comes to your home, and he'll
Yeah,
you know,
and
bring
I don't
prep
know
food.
how many more minutes we have. I think
We
it
have
says
5.
45 minutes.
We have 5.
But I forgot about my music, so I'm going to throw
and
one
the
last
music.
song in.
Yes,
all right?
go ahead.
So, because I met you,
Yes.
and because there's people in my life that I can never repay.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, you know, there's a book called The 5 People You Meet in Heaven.
Okay.
This guy, Mitch Albom.
I'm gonna have to get it.
It's you read it in 2 hours. It's so amazing. So what I did was, for me, the number 7 is everything.
That's your number. Okay.
And what I did was I came up with 7 people that I'll meet in heaven.
Okay.
And I bought 7 of the same books.
Okay.
And they're people that are not blood related to me. I want they're not. I'm going to give them the books soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Nice.
within the next 20 years. But
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
sitting on my shelf.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And it's people that have changed my life in a way that I could never repay, or so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And each one of them eventually will know each other here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, one's not here no more, but so that's how my thought process goes. But
Yeah.
the music,
Yeah.
which I found so many songs and stuff now.
Oh, sure.
So there's one last song, and I want everyone to know that it's not one of Elton John's most huge
Big hits. Right.
But for me,
Yes.
it's the best song he ever wrote.
Right.
And it's called Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters.
Okay.
And this song, to me, is everything.
Okay.
Him and Bernie Taupin,
Yeah.
the pair of them, the way
Yeah.
they wrote, and then
Yeah.
Elton would sing it.
Right. Yeah.
It's just magnificent.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Magnificent.
good. No, it's good. I'm getting
Yeah.
all emotional, all verklempt. No, but there are certain songs too that just touch your soul, and like in my sister, who I can never, my family and I were very, very, very close, but my sister literally saved my life by getting me to the hospital when she did, or I wouldn't be here. Now we're both gonna get emotional. I wouldn't be here either.
Yeah, you told
And
me.
if everyone wasn't standing where they were standing that day, I wouldn't be here talking
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
So we all go through something, but the thing is we're still here. We came out on the other side. We still have more work to do.
Please listen to Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters
I am.
later on
I wrote it
tonight,
down.
please.
I am. I wrote it down. I did.
And if not, I'll text you the lyrics, and
yeah.
because it's just,
Yeah.
it's so fitting.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Me meeting you,
Yeah, yeah.
you're one of,
Yeah.
in that song, like you're
Yeah.
one of
No,
those
I appreciate that. So we have like a couple of minutes left. Is there anything?
43 minutes.
I want to thank everyone for watching. We got so many people watching you, and your sister was. We were trying to share the show with everybody and let everyone know you were on. But there's so much more for you to do.
There's so much more, and we need
And
to
you want
expect.
to also want to try to look into a podcast, right? Where
Yeah.
you want to do something live. And kind of like go through like a biography of your life.
Right. My
And-
niece
and-
Diana, if she watches this, maybe
Yeah.
she'll get an idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know how to.
Okay.
But they
But
know,
it's something
you
you
know.
want to look into.
Yeah, and
You know,
it's
because
just
you have, like I
um,
said, you have many more chapters to write.
many.
in
So
your
my
book.
life on the line
Yeah.
has many chapters that are already scripted.
Right, right.
planned out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think that's the way to go with it, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I think today was amazing, and I thank you.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for taking
Thank
that
you.
trip. It sucked getting here, but it's going to be a lot easier to get back home.
Yeah, next time I need a helicopter.
It's you know what it is we met for dinner, and it's the time. You're going to get home in a little over an hour. That's what Kathy
Yeah,
told
I
me.
think so.
You will, I promise. But I do appreciate you taking the ride here, and if there's anything you want to come back, promote, You know, you let me know.
I appreciate you.
I actually invited your sisters to come sit in the audience, but with their jobs, it was hard for them to get here.
Time with Theresa Farrell.
So listen, I want to thank you so much for doing this. Did you have a good time?
I had an amazing time.
Okay, good.
I could go hours more.
He can. That's why I have to have him back. All right, listen, I want to thank everyone for watching Tea Time and supporting me. Please like the show. Please share it. Tell your friends about it. Again, we're live on YouTube and Facebook every Monday night at 8 o'clock. Then it goes to Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, Apple TV, wherever podcasts can be heard, and seen every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Channel 20 for people here who live on Long Island and get Optimum TV. Yeah. So I'm excited you took the ride. I'm excited he was here and how it all worked out.
Thank you.
So thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you.
And remember, tell everyone you love them. Ciao.